Well, good morning, fellow builders. Okay, and welcome to another exciting episode of Friendship Fox, episode 10, I believe. It's Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope everything goes well for you and your family's safe and healthy and all that good stuff. This is the windshield for the Kit Fox 4. Okay, this is what I received with the plane. My friend had fitted this already. About the only I put it on and fitted it myself, and I got the Clecos in there and I did everything. The only thing I saw was right down here. I don't know if you can see the little black Sharpie mark I made right there. That needs to be cut back a little bit, but other than that, this thing fit perfectly, pretty much right on the bones. Okay, but I started to look at it, and I noticed that when he was trying to heat up these corners just a little bit, got a little too close. See that? That's caused from a heat gun. And I can't have that. Just because I know myself, and every time I look at it, I'll get pissed off. Not at him, just in general. Because that's not the kind of work I do. Okay? I want it nice and clean and perfect and blah, blah, blah. Okay? So I think most guys do. They got their standard of work and quality. So I want to get a new piece of the polycarbonate, and this here, you can see it comes in different thicknesses, and I measured it the other day. I don't know exactly what it is, but it appears to be about 3/16, something like that. See that? Hey, let me pull back so it's not blurry. There you go. And I think I'll go with the same because you can see it's workable. And, thicker probably is better. Hopefully you don't get a bird strike or something. But you got to contend with trying to bend these things. And it's a little bit tough, and this is a little easier material. Okay, so I'll get that on there. But as I was doing that, let's go back to the airplane. I did notice that the center rib, let's take a look up here. There's a big old gap in here underneath the windshield. So what I did was I took a couple pieces of 3-ply plywood. I glued them in, T88, love T88, and then I feathered them out a little bit with a little bit of Bondo, and then I sat there and block sanded back and forth till I got it where I wanted it. And now I can put a straight edge all the way across, and it's right on the bones all the way across. So it's got that support that you need there, and you don't have a gap. I don't know if it means anything, but I'd have to imagine that it could start banging, making a little noise. Tick, 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 tick. Who needs that shit? I don't hear it. So on top of these pieces, I think I might run a little bit of cloth on there as well. Something soft, not thick at all. And then put them all down on that so it's nice and soft and everything's cool. Okay? And then you can see where he's that blurriness. I don't know if you can see this or not, but all the holes are in. Everything's been fitted. And there you go. You can see it. And everything really come out good. And where that little mark was I made with the Sharpie, it was right here. It was just rubbing a little bit, and we don't need to have that. So I'm gonna cut that out and then use that old windshield as a template, of course, so I can get a beautiful new windshield in there. Okay, and I checked the panel, the dash, everything fit. I mean, just perfectly. So he did a fine job on it. I can't doubt his abilities on some of this stuff. And everything's really starting to come together here. Now, as I talked about either the last episode or episode before, I'm waiting on the templates to get finished up on the vertical here. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just building a Speedster, vertical and horizontal and all that. I like the look of it, the shape of it, and I think it's a better flying surface. So what I'm going to show you is something that my designer buddy put together for me. Let me get my laptop, high-tech stuff, my laptop together, and I'll show you what he's put together. Now you can see that this is a program, and he's just sizing everything up, and everything will be perfect. And then we'll print these out full size. I'll lay them on the ply, and I'll cut them out. And then I just got to place them, glue them, and cha-cha-cha, I'm in business. But the only thing he hasn't done on this picture is up front. He hasn't put the 5/8 cutout for the front tube. But he's going to do that. He just hasn't done it yet. But these are perfectly graduated the way they're supposed to be, from larger to smaller on top. And then there's two pieces here, of course, which go in here underneath. And then we can take the same program and just go from this station here and go down. Okay, but these aren't full-size ones, and everything's got to fit just right from the widest up to the more narrow at the top. Okay, and enough said about that. I think we've covered that. So let's go back up front. And you know, I talked about I'm going to build my own STOL gear. It's going to be about 6 inches higher. I might use these. These are about 20 inches, these here. Or I might go with the bigger ones, you know, the 27s, 8s, whatever. It just depends on how rich I am at the time, I guess. Man, they're getting crazy money for these tires. But with all that, we talked about coming up here and bringing the first down tube forward up to this position. And I like that idea. I have no problem with it. This is what I see the guys doing with the shock monster. They got a kit, goes right up forward. But instead of having a place to put it, this really isn't set up for landing gear per se. This is a setup for floats. This has got the float option on it. So you got it here, and I think underneath where the wing attaches, I think this is part of that as well. Okay? So they take off the gear and they put the float stuff on, and you're good to go. Now, even with the float attachment, I think I'd have some kind of strength built in this thing, because you're taking compression issues and all that when you're landing on a float too. It might not be as great as regular landing gear landing, but it's still, you know, you're putting some pressure on the fuselage. So if you see right here, this is where it is stock. So this is spreading that pressure up and in this underneath the seat. Directly across to the other side, they built themselves bridge trusses, basically, right? And it's taking that load to the center here, both directions. Now, since I want to go forward, I truly believe that the same thing needs to be done forward. I'm not making it as tall as this, but I am going to put it in there. And right now I started to mock up how that's going to all lay in there. And the way this is going to be set up, I got a 45 coming down, I have another one coming up, another one going down, and I'll have another one coming right up and attaching, and let me move my camera, over here. So it'll be, you know, like a regular truss design, just like a bridge, all the way across, exactly the same. The reason I do this with these pieces, because this is the size diameter of the tubing I'm using, 5/8, okay, which basically is the same as the bottom here, okay? And I can build this in, get it right on the bones, exactly where it needs to be, everything. And then when I take this thing out, all I have to do is lay it on a piece of board, make sure it's straight, draw it out, then I'll build a jig, just like I did on ribs that I've been building for an ultralight aircraft I'm playing with. There's my wing jig for ribs. See that? Man, they've been doing it for years, since the teens. That's how it's done. Look at this. There's the ribs. So there you go. I'm going to do the same thing. Other than that, I'm not making them out of wood. I'm making it out of, you know, 4130 chromoly. So I'm welding it. It won't have any of the gussets, of course. You know that already. So, but when you do it this way, and you tie it down to a nice straight board like that, and you put it together, and you can clamp it down, you weld it, you can't screw up. Well, you can, but you shouldn't be able to screw up if you clamp everything down right and you get it set up right. Okay? So that's what's going on there. I'm excited about it. I believe it's going to, I just truly believe it's a smart idea. Like I said before, if you guys got a better idea or you've got a suggestion or whatever, please comment. DM me. Tell me. I appreciate it. I love to talk to you about it. But I think overall, it's going to be really the best way to do this and put some strength into this, the way I'm going about this. Okay? Now, this bar here, of course, you can see is right at the top. This one here is only about 4 inches high because I wanted to cut this cross tube. I wanted to cut a little notch out so it'd go over this, and then I could get a good weld right there. And this tilts down just a little bit like this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this whole thing is going to be a cover, and it's going to be aluminum. And I'll put some other stiffeners in there too, just to hold the aluminum, okay? But I'm going to make it, and there will be a hole, a square hole right here. So when you're moving your stick, your joystick, you'll get full throw any direction you want to go with it. There'll be nothing confining this from moving the way it's supposed to. And you'll be able to look in there and inspect your goodies, make sure you got a cotter key in there and you're not going to hopefully kill yourself. Okay, so, but what they'll do for me is a couple things. Will look good, okay, which is cool, but I'm more of a utility guy. So I think, especially climbing in an aircraft that's going to be at least 6 inches higher, you want your heel to be able not to catch on things. And I think with that metal in there, that sheet metal, your heel can just touch it and then slide right in where it's supposed to go to get up to the rudder pedals. You get what I'm talking about? You'll just touch it and you'll just slide it right in. It's not going to catch on anything. It's like everything else. You're either going to move your stick over like this and get around that way probably and just slide it in. And I think it's going to really turn out right on the money. Another thing I'm digging is right here. This is your flaperon. Okay, this is your flaperon arrangement. Let me get down there. Arrangement right here. See that? So you're going to get, 10, 20, 30 degrees, whatever. I can build with that cover, I can build a little spring-loaded setup here to where I can go 10 degrees and lock it in, 20 degrees and lock it in, 30 degrees and lock it in. I'd have to look this up. I don't know if it goes all the way to 40 or not. It might, okay? And I can lock everything in with a spring-loaded setup here, right? And it's going to be easy. It's not going to move. It's going to be obvious. And then I'll have it marked out, so many degrees on each thing. So I'm digging that. I'm really digging that. It's going to be nice. Okay. So I think that's about it. It's about almost 12 minutes into this thing. So there's my official report. Other than the rudder pedals, I had to take apart, flip upside down, and hang with some zip ties. Now, from what I understand, the rudder pedals on these joints, right on the bottom two where they go up, these are upside down, right? They're breaking right here, unfortunately. And I don't know how long it takes for that to happen, but I'm not going to find out. So the fix, of course, is to pull back the powder coating and put in a metal gusset and weld it in, which I'm going to do. There's 4 of them, of course, because you got 4 rudder pedals. And I'm going to fix that now while I've got access to it. So I'll take all this out, clean it up, weld it. I'll touch it up with some paint that looks decent, or just paint them close to the same thing with a can or whatever I got to do. Or maybe even get them powder coated again. All right? So there you go. All right, guys. I think that's good enough. It's 12:40 on the clock here. Merry Christmas to everybody. I'll catch you on the next one. Okay, bye-bye.